Hello.
Hi.
How are you, Dani?
Good. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm happy that it's Friday and it's
I
a
know.
beautiful day outside.
A gorgeous day. Yes.
Have you gotten outside today?
No, I've been working
I spent some time in the car and I was wishing that I was, actually
outside.
outside. But
Yeah.
thanks for joining everybody that's watching us right now. It's Friday at 2:30, which means we are live for
Mhm.
a co-designer chat, and I've got Dani with me again. We're going to be talking about some hot flooring trends today. But how's your week been, Dani? Are you on anything fun?
Yeah, I'm working in a big renovation for like an entire first floor. So that's being
Awesome.
exciting. So yeah, so this flooring live will be perfect.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect. Well, we have a special guest that Dani's going to introduce here in just a moment, but I want to pose a question for anybody that's tuned in. I want to hear if anybody has tried the flooring visualizer on our website. We talked about it here on one of our ACO chats a few weeks ago, and so I was just wondering if anybody's given it a shot. And if you have, what colors have you tried? Have you tried any fun patterns? Let us know. We're happy to hear and happy to chat about it. And if you have any questions, feel free at any time to drop us a line in the comments and we will address them. So Dani, who's joining us today?
Okay, so just for you guys, if you guys are back this week, thanks for joining us. If you don't know me, my name is Dani Cole. I'm an interior designer and I've been with ACO for the past 3 years. So I've been looking forward to this live this whole week. Some of you guys know me and follow my work know that I love Duchateau. So having the rep from Duchateau here today, it's really nice. So we'll talk about trends on pattern, on installation and colors. So please welcome Shannon. He's the Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana rep, and here he is. Hi, Shannon. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Great. Thanks for joining us, Shannon.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
So why don't you start maybe talking a little bit about yourself and what do you love the most about Duchateau?
Okay, so I've been a rep for Duchateau only since January, but I worked for a dealer like you guys for a couple years selling Duchateau, so I'm very familiar with the product. And gosh, what do I love the most about the company? I mean, the product, the look of the product is number one. I mean, it's really the prettiest wood and LVT out there. I mean, absolutely, hands down. I also love that we have our thumb on the pulse of the trend and the market, and we're not afraid to do things like gravitate towards influencers or pull in designers like yourselves. We're just very, very trend conscious, and it just feels good to be a part of the company.
Awesome. So maybe we should start with some of the trends and what do you see as far as color wise? Are we still, a lot of clients ask me, they want to go the gray, but they are concerned that in a few years the gray will be gone and then they have this whole floor in gray. So do you see a trend in the gray or what's going on right now?
There's a definite trend. It's the grays have really fallen towards the bottom of the scale. I'm going to hold up about 6 samples there in our glue down LVT. And you can see the lighter colors at the, how can I do this? Okay. The grays towards the bottom, the warmers at the top. There's this new color trend. If you combined beige with gray, you'd have greige. Greige.
Oh, yeah.
It is number one in engineered wood. It's number one in our LVT, and I think we have a picture of a install of Dani's, right, with a greige. Yeah, there it is.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
This picture shows a lot of nice highs and lows.
Definitely.
You're not just getting that golden color, you're getting that gray, which thankfully blends in with all the grays we've invested in for the last 5 years, right?
Yes.
But we're really just following the market, what's happening in wall covering, in carpet, and paint. And this new greige, I'm telling you, is selling either half or double as good as gray, or at least 25% better. So this greige is by far the number one on all our different products. I'd say the second trend is you're always going to have that person that wants a golden floor, or that medium brown, or a dark floor. So while we may have like 3 offerings in medium brown, we have that one color that pops up. Like our number 1 medium brown is called Flint.
Yeah, I see it. Yeah,
some nice detail in it.
beautiful. Yeah.
Really beautiful. And our number 1 dark is Seine, like the Seine River. Just a beautiful, warm brown. So we're finding those warm browns kind of falling into the middle of the spectrum. And I think it's just because, again, you're always going to have somebody who wants a golden floor, a medium. And then I'd say like the third biggest trend that I'm hearing people talk about is just following home design. So, you know, we're opening our homes up. I can see Dani's house is looks to be very open. You know, the kitchen's open to the dining room. People want to interact with their families. They want to keep their eyes on the kids. And I'm hearing the talk of floor consistency. So Monday, I don't know if you guys saw, but Property Brothers is doing this celebrity home design where the celebrity picks somebody.
I saw that. Melissa. Yeah.
It's good. Melissa picked her aunt and uncle, and they were going with one wood tone on 2 different floors. So one of our colors that we offer our herringbone in is called Favor.
That's my favorite one.
Mine too. It's our number 1 selling herringbone color. And Marquee is its coordinate plank. So even though they were doing kind of a lower level and a main level, they chose this one tone to kind of create synergy throughout. And I saw on Property Brothers, they always do like these little design blogs. And Jonathan was like, if you choose a species, like if you choose oak, stay with oak. You might be able to change tones, but just stay with that species at least. So there's a lot of talk about, you know, synergy with flooring throughout the house. And I'd say like maybe a fourth trend would be people are playing around and having more fun with configurations like herringbone, or we're getting more hits on some of our parquet patterns. People are going with like our 9.5-inch planks, so really wide planks. And then we're even bringing back some 3-inch high variation, you know, slat planks. So people are really playing around with configurations. I'd say wide plank is still the number 1, but people are having a lot of fun, mostly with the herringbone. That I'm seeing at least. And then I'd say probably the last major trend in flooring, both vinyl and engineered wood, is the finish. So people are not looking to choose a glossy finish. They seem to be really wanting matte.
Oh, yes.
And I think that's why when I was in the dealer, when I was selling at a dealer, I would gravitate towards Duchateau because it just reminded me of like that sexy, you know how you walk into a restoration hardware store and everything's kind of like that matte oak. You just can't describe. You just like, you know, if you landed on the planet and you were looking at a Camry and a Ferrari, you would know that the Ferrari would, you know, there's something intuitive that would just tell you that is really sexy. But
it's a vibe.
Our finish is a very matte finish, and we actually get pushback even from installers. They're like, I don't think this has any finish on it. It's just too matte. But we're just really responding to what the market seems to be, you know, driving at. So, yeah, those are probably the main 5 trends, and I can show you my top 1 or 2 colors.
Sure, yeah.
This is Danube. Again, it's not golden. I'm going to hold the golden up to it so you can kind of see the difference.
Oh,
this
yeah.
is like number 8.
Yeah. And is that the luxury vinyl plank, or is that the hardwood?
Engineered.
Engineered. Okay.
It's an engineered wood. and then I'll hold up the top three. So you can see that number two, I can't get there we go.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, we can see.
Yeah, we can see it.
This seems to be like, that looks pretty gray, but the truth is when you hold it up to like one of our 10th selling, it has a lot of gold in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
True.
yeah, this one has a lot of gold in it. So yeah.
I think that's really interesting too. You know, how when there's kind of a crossover with trends, you know, we see a lot of matte finishes in countertops. We see it all over the place. And so it's, you know, I think it's really interesting that as a brand, you kind of respond to what's happening, and, you know, that vibe is just there. You're responding to what people are interested in.
That's so funny because I just put in countertops at my condo in Bloomington, and we chose a leathered finish.
Oh, awesome.
And are in love with it, you know, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, question, do you think that the European white oak, do you think that's also another factor on the Duchateau floors that everybody loves? Because it's a very strong and hardwood, right? So,
yeah. There's about 3 unique things about Duchateau, and I'll touch on the species first. And I can talk about the other 2 as well. One of the things we're known for is this European oak, and there's a lot of reasons why. We usually call it either European oak or French European oak, which grows or either in Germany or in France. These are trees that have deep roots. They get a lot of moisture throughout the tree. They grow really straight up, so we can get really beautiful, wide, consistent planks. The rings are just kind of that right width apart that creates the look we want. And because of how deep the roots grow and how rich it is with minerals, we get a lot of the sugars and tannins that we need, which brings me to the second point. So we're not, you know, our wood isn't painted on. It's not, the finish isn't painted on or stained on. We use a formula, which is very unique. Our owners kind of brought this process to the US in 2005. A lot of people have kind of copied us since, but imitation is the best form of flattery.
I was just going to say
that. So instead of, you know, having that painted on finish, so to speak, we use a formula that allows the wood to react, and those sugars, those tannins react to this formula. So we have this kind of motto that we let nature be the best artist, and we in many ways kind of unlock the DNA code of all these planks and creating all these formulas. So that's the second thing that kind of makes us unique, aside from the wood that Dani mentioned. And also our finish on 2 of the 3 engineer collections are an oil finish. And people either get it or they don't. I think when our owners started this company, they would travel to Europe and they would be like, oh my God, why do these chateaus and all these castles, why do the floors look perfectly new? You know, they've been around for 300 years. So this oil process, it's not like, you know, like a polyurethane that just sort of sits on and creates kind of a plasticky barrier. Our oil penetrates the surface of the wood and fills in all those cells. So imagine I kind of relate it to hair. You know, we condition our hair so it doesn't get brittle and break. So, you know, up close under a microscope, you can see all the porous holes of the wood, and that oil just sits in there and keeps the dirt towards the surface. So one, it allows the wood to stay healthier. It creates a little flexibility. So during the seasons, as the wood is expanding and contracting, a lot of people don't realize their wood does that. It's way more flexible, and it really allows you to keep it cleaner. It allows you to fix scratches easier. It even allows more absorbency and dents. And we'll call it either a hard wax oil or a UV coated. They're pretty much the same. The UV coated has just an extra UV process to it. It probably gets you a few more years out of the gate so that you don't have to apply any more oil, but otherwise they perform pretty much similar. But those are kind of the three main characteristics that makes us so different and unique.
That's awesome. And if anybody that's listening has any other questions for Shannon about Duchateau, about any flooring trends that we're seeing, anything else that's really popular, please feel free to leave us a comment. We will bring it up, and Shannon or Dani or myself will address your questions. I think that's really interesting too, though, you know, the point about unlocking the DNA code of the material. You know, natural materials are so amazing and they do so many wonderful things and they're so beautiful. And it's important to work with them instead of trying to make them do things that they wouldn't normally do.
Absolutely. I was talking to an end user the other day. A dealer asked me to call her. And I was saying, you know, like I think of it in terms of countertops, like you mentioned earlier. Like a lot of times I've sold countertops in the past too. You know, you would take someone and they would pick out a natural marble and they just couldn't get that beauty of that, what nature did, out of their head. And every time they would look at like a quartz, you know, like pattern, they just
Right.
never really did what nature did in the first place.
Yeah,
so,
right. Not quite the same.
not quite the same.
We have a question about the oil that you mentioned. How often do you need to reapply?
Okay, so we used to, back when we first brought out our woods, we used to put a couple coats of oil on and then have the installers apply a third coat. What we found a few years ago is nobody was really doing that. So, I mean, you know, no one reads instructions, right? So we went way above the industry standard, and, you know, most of the woods are coming out with 4 coats of oil. So you're good for a year, couple years. The UV, like I said, the UV treatment adds a couple year or two onto that. So you don't have to even worry about the oil for a year or two or longer. There's just a really simple test that, depending on, you know, like, do you wear shoes in the house? Do you, you know, is the door, are the doors open in the summer? Are you getting a lot of variance in temperature and humidity? You just really, after a year or two, take your fingers with a little bit of water and bounce some droplets. If the droplets are still sitting and puddling like on a waxed car, you don't have to do anything. If they've absorbed over a little bit of time and created a little gray temporary mark, you know, it's probably time to oil. So there's no, you know, there's no definite mark you can put on your calendar. You kind of have to judge it. But
Sure.
Yeah.
you know, just a little periodic oil. I know Dani oiled the floor with Julie. It's easy, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that. We had a client that we applied the oil, and at first I was like, I've never done it. It's complicated. And then we started, and it was very, very simple. I mean, we did it super quick. So if you have to do it, don't be afraid. It's
Just call Dani.
Yeah. And
yeah, I'll help you.
I have a video. Usually, if you just have like a hardwood attachment to your sweeper, really just doing that, you know,
That's a good
every
idea.
2 weeks. You don't even have to use. You do have to use our cleaner to keep the warranty, but you don't have to clean it as often as people think. Just use that like sweeper attachment and sweep it up, and just keep the fresh dust off it. But I have a video too. I'll send you guys. The thing I would like to note is we have this double bucket method. It makes total sense. It's like, after I saw it, I was like, why didn't I think of this? Really, people, you know, they have good intentions. They're cleaning the floor with the solution, they're wiping it, but they're rinsing the mop back into the cleaning solution. So they're just kind of moving the dirt around the floor.
Sure.
We suggest this complete other bucket of just water that you rinse it and then periodically dump it and fill it. But I have a great video I can send you guys to share with your clients. It makes total sense after you see it.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Well, thanks so much, Shannon. We appreciate you joining us today. Can you let us know where we can follow Chateau, maybe on social media, follow you? Where can we find some more about the material?
Absolutely. Duchateau.com obviously is our website. It has everything you need as far as maintenance, warranty, installation, specifications. On Instagram, follow @Duchateau Official for the best install shots. And then obviously try to follow me, Shannon Roark Specifications. I usually copy everything from Duchateau, but then I'll throw in like a cool house or
Awesome.
cool pillows or whatever.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Awesome.
Well, thanks so much for everybody that tuned in today. I got to give a birthday shout out to Miss Erin Moore. I saw that she's watching and it's her birthday today. So happy birthday, Erin. And everybody, please tune in next week. We're going to be talking about appliances with another very special guest. So everybody enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. Thanks so much, Dani. Thanks so much, Shannon.
Thank you,
Thank
Shannon,
you,
for
guys.
joining us. I appreciate all the support always. Thank you. Thanks, Mia.
Thank you.
Bye.